Good morning. Happy New Year 2021. Welcome back to Half and Half. Scott and I just finished a little more than a week off of teaching, and it was wonderful. And yeah, I hope all of you um, got a chance to watch some videos that we had set up. Um, and yeah, still got to work out and also had a brilliant and lovely holiday as well, if you did. Um, yeah, so Andy Kitten is now what, like a week older, 2 weeks older, and he's very snuggly. So he's hanging out, being a cat with us. Um, yeah, so this morning, we thought we'd just like get moving, right? New Year and movement and just do lots of different things. So I got a kitchen towel. Hopefully you got a kitchen towel too. If not, hit pause and go grab one, come back, catch up with us. So we can do a little bit of strap work, we'll do a little bit of core work, and then I don't know, maybe some footwork, and then Scott will come in and work as well. So let's start standing up with the towel. I'm gonna have to disappoint the kitten. You know, sometimes I say get a strap or a towel, but I am predicting that if I use the strap, the ends dangling, well, I have not saved the situation. Someone, a very tall man, may need to get the kitten. So we'll start standing with your feet parallel. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And holding the edges, the sort of diagonal edges of your kitchen towel. And the nice thing about the towel is you can pretty much hold at the ends. You don't have to figure out how wide to hold it. So it's nice. And then give it a little pull out. Let your elbows bend a little. Feel your upper back really wide, your shoulder blades really wide. Feel your collarbones wide. And then sometimes I think about like my armpits, and like I had a big ball that I could put in my armpit, which I've actually done before, like those little balls, and put them in the armpit. See if you can feel that, like almost like you pumped up, inflated a balloon in your armpit or inflated a ball in your armpit. Your back would get wider, your elbows would get a little wider. You'd pull a little more, but not from your hands so much, right? From your upper arm and your elbows and your armpits and all that. And then release, like the ball deflates a little. And then blow up the balloon, armpit balloons, and then deflate them a little. And inhale and pull, and exhale, release. And you could even inhale into your armpits. And release, and pulling out, and exhale, and pull, and release. And inhale, pulling out, and exhale, and inhale, and release. Two more. Reaching out, and I'm really focused on my chest and my back, both being broad, not one or the other. And then pulling out, hold that tension, bend your knees and feel your knees move straight forward over your toes while still keeping your heels down. And then feel your weight on your feet, a little bit forward, a little bit back. Find the kind of ideal centered place for your weight. And then as you come up to shoulder height, straighten your legs, and then come back to that small knee bend, right? It's not really a squat. It's just a little bit of feeling the down and up, pushing from your feet, activating the legs a little as you come up and down. Wide elbows, balloon armpits. Two more. And one more time, up and hold it. And then in this position, we're going to step your feet out. Let them turn out a little bit, just to a comfortable position. I'm going to keep holding my arms up the whole time. If you need a rest, that's normal. But also if you want to challenge some of these muscles a little bit, just don't drop the towel. Keep it up the whole time. Pull and release. Inhale, pull, and exhale. So now I have this third thing: wide armpit, wide front, wide back, and like broad jaw to shoulder, right? Not narrow here. Pulling out and release, and inhale, pull and release. My hands aren't too high. They're a little below my shoulders, not above. So it feels like if a drop of water dripped from my ear, it would just keep rolling down to my pinky and off my pinky knuckle, right? wouldn't get stuck anywhere. And pull and release. And one more time, pull out and hold it. Bend your knees. Again, not a big squat. You want to keep knees over toes and pelvis in place. So you're not going to go quite as low as if you were going into a deeper squat and leaned forward. Reach up overhead and exhale, bend. Whole foot pressing and lower down. Not too much on the inside part of the foot or the outside part of the foot. So if I roll more towards the inside, my knees go forward, right? That's an indicator. So I keep the outside foot, part of the foot down. My knees end up over toes. 2 more. And one more time, up and hold it. Release the tension. Pull out. Inhale and exhale. Wide upper back and exhale. Inhaling. Imagine the back of your armpit gets wider. Inhaling. So this place right here, this back of the armpit space, gets wider as you pull. Reaching out and release. And one more time, reach out and hold it. So take a little reach up and over to the side. Inhale and exhale. Back to center. And inhale, reach over. And back to center. Now let's add the knee bend with this. So bending in center and then reaching up and over. Press through your feet to stretch. Exhale, bend to come back in. And pushing, reaching over, big connection, all the way from your pinky finger to through your side body to your pinky toe. Long reach. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And reaching up. And back to center. And lower your arms to shoulder height or take a rest. But if you want a little challenge, just lower them to shoulder height. Easy neck and shoulders. We're going to bend your knees and do a little bit of heel lifting first, right? So one heel up, arms back down. So I'm staying in this small knee bend, not deep knee bend. That's very 1930s, right? I feel like I Love Lucy did deep knee bends. We're doing not so deep. And heel up and lower and heel up and lower. So we're going to add a little to it. You can watch if you want. You're going to go heel up, leave it up, and lower. Then I'm going to take that knee and turn it in so I twist around. I'm going to open it out and lower my heel down. And then the other heel comes up and lower the arms, twist and center and lower. And reaching up and lower, twist, center, heel comes down, heel comes up, lower, twist, center, and down. So we could take these two together. I could twist as I lower, and then back up and down. Up, twist, back up, and down. Up, twist, back up, and down. One more time. And back up and down. And then relax everything in the shoulders. And we'll just drop the towel off to the side. Step your feet together right at the top of your mat here. Bend your knees a little. Feel your whole foot on the floor. We'll take a roll down, letting your arms just relax. Take a moment here with just the head and the chest starting to roll down and see if you can feel kind of your armpit balloon feeling. There's a little space in the armpits. It's not because you're tightening your neck, it's just letting the elbows kind of float out, letting the upper back open a little more. I often think like a bird wing or something like that, like coming from my spine, how they have their wings tucked in and they just pull them out. And that kind of width in my upper back. And then lowering all the way down. And take a moment here, let your head relax, let your arms relax, let your forearms relax, and your hands rest on the floor if they can. Maybe your fingertips on the floor If you can't do either of those, bend your knees a little more, and I bet you can get at least your fingertips on the floor if you let your knees really bend. And then coming down to hands and knees. And then let's flip around. So feet come a little forward. So set yourself up with your knees bent and your feet flexed and your hair perfectly arranged. That's obviously important. And your feet about hip distance apart. And then hopefully this is a fairly comfortable position for you sitting. If you need to sit up on something, that's okay. We're just going to be here for a little bit. But sitting up as best you can. And let's just do a little bit of like pointing and flexing the feet. Now I have these super flexible feet, so when I do that, my foot almost touches the floor, but it doesn't necessarily need to. But just kind of working through whatever your range is. Maybe yours looks more like that. And feeling that movement through the foot. And then leaving both feet flexed. And notice when I'm really working into this flex, my toes are pulled way back. So see if you can keep this kind of flex in the foot, but then just relax your toes, right? So I could be flexed if I pull my toes back, this angle at my ankle, I don't want to lose that. I'm just going to relax my toes. And that's the flex I want. So that flex is really coming from my ankle and my heel right now is what we're going for. And the foot is just kind of relaxed like I was standing. Round your spine so you come back a little bit. Holding your legs, walking down, open back. That big bird wing back. See if you can find it again. Just like when you were standing. Use your hands a little bit, your arms to help hold you. And then all the way down to the mat. Wiggle your toes a little. Flex your feet, reach your heels. Inhale, lift your head and feel that wide elbow, armpit balloon, bird back. It's a lot of mixed metaphors or something happening. And then keep expanding through your upper back to work your way up to sitting. We'll take that again. Inhale, fill up your armpits, bird back, round spine walking down, easy toes. All the way down. Inhale, lifting the head up. Open your back, inflate your armpits. Use that little pull with your arms to bring you up. So we're going to do a couple more. You can keep doing that exactly. If that's a little too difficult, if you feel like you get stuck at the bottom, go down about 2/3 of the way instead of all the way down and come back up. If you want a little more challenge, we're going to bring the strap back again. So we've got 3 options: part way down, all the way down, hands on your legs, or part way or all the way down, holding the strap. So a little pull out, all that same stuff. Rolling back. And then if you've got the towel, you can take it back overhead, just like when you were standing, reaching the arms way up. And then arms up, lift your head. Now, same thing, elbows wide, armpits inflated, upper back, bird back, reaching forward. And inhale as you start back. Exhale, nice wide open elbows. And coming up, inhale. Exhale, all the things. And 2 more, inhale. Exhale. And inhaling. Last one. Coming down. We'll go ahead and stay down when we get there this time. And let everything relax. Legs relax, feet relax. Take your towel down if you had it. And take a couple breaths here. Now, bring your legs together. Do that same flex of the feet where you slide the heel forward and you feel the front of the ankle bend, but you don't pull the toes way back. This would be like standing and pulling your toes up off the floor. We want to stand and have your toes on the floor, right? So that feeling of the heel really being grounded and reaching forward, the ankle really bending, but the toes don't have to lift up. It's very interesting how that lets some things go in your shin. If you can do that, if you can make that distinction, which can be really nice. So we're going to try to keep that feeling with the legs together. Take your right knee in, hold the back of your leg, and then up and down with this leg. Inhale to reach up, exhale, bend. Now, if this just feels so tight in your right hamstring, you could take your left leg and put it back in the position we did the roll up in, where the knee is bent and the heel's drawn in a little bit. And it's really helpful in creating a better movement overall. It keeps your pelvis more stable. Sometimes it makes it harder, even if you can get the leg straight. If you shift to this, sometimes you'll find it creates a new challenge in the leg circles. But if you like the leg straight and that works for you, keeping that. Taking the right leg up and leave it there. Let's do just a little more foot movement, flexing and pointing, working through your foot and your toes. So right leg stays as it is, hands come down by your side. We go into some leg circles, really steady pelvis as you reach across and around and back to center. Inhale, exhale. Now I still have armpit balloons here. So my elbows are a little wide, my arms are a little away from my body, and I have that wide upper back, wide chest feeling. However much you need to bend your elbows and maybe move your arms around. And that helps you get your upper abdominals better too. Let's do the reverse. Out and then across and up. Inhale, exhale. One more. And then bend your right knee. Take your leg out. Legs back together. Move your feet around a little. Flex them back. Feel the heel reach forward, the ankle bend. Relax the toes. Wiggle and just kind of let the toes settle, even though the heel's reaching forward. Left leg comes in. Hold the back of your thigh. If you want, bend your right knee. Feel like it's straight, leave it there. Up and down. Inhale, exhale. And I'm going to let my elbows come out again. That same upper back position we've been doing. Armpit position. And then next time you have your left leg up, leave it there. And let's move your foot some more. Toe, ball, heel, heel, ball, and then all the toes. Distinguishing your toe from the midfoot to the heel of the foot. You got a lot of joints in your feet. Really useful to explore a little more movement through your foot than you normally would. And then leaving your foot pointed, your toes pointed, arms come out, kind of soft elbow, wide back feeling by your side. Pelvis really steady. You reach across, you circle around and up. Inhale, exhale. And then reversing. And then bend your knee and rest your leg down. Take your knees into your chest, however you like. Let yourself just kind of ease into a little stretch there. Sometimes it feels good to bring them a little closer. Sometimes it feels better to leave them slightly farther away from your chest. So when I say however you like, that's however you like. And then coming up to sitting. So let's come over onto your hands and knees. And knees hip distance apart, right under your hips, and hands shoulder distance apart. And take a moment and just play with how your hand, palm of your hand, opens into the floor. I think for most of us, all our weight goes on the heel of our hand pretty naturally. The fingers kind of clump up and the ball of the hand kind of comes up. So if you bend your elbow a little, a lot of times you can kind of feel the whole hand, the palm of the hand a little more, and however much your fingers will spread out and your thumb. And then maybe do that same thing with the other side. With the elbow a little bent, place the heel of the hand down. See if you can get the whole palm, and then see if you can spread out your fingers. And if you really struggle with that in your wrist, if you have your hands a little forward of your shoulders, sometimes that's helpful. So you can play with that too. Now, once you think you've kind of got it, keeping that kind of inflated armpit, wide elbow feeling, which is again a little counterintuitive. You bend them a little, you reach them out a little, like you were doing the strap work, and then you bring them back towards straight, but not all the way straight. If I go all the way straight, I'm going to lose a lot of that stuff. So bend, open, and then towards straight, the whole palm in the floor. So we're going to start with the legs. We're going to reach one foot back like a plank position. So we did all that kind of toe articulation, foot articulation. So now my toes are tucked under. I want to see if I can spread out my toes on the floor. And then at the same time, reach my heel way back, right? Which is a flexing of the foot. So if my weight's a little more forward on my hands, my heel is, not so far back. But if I really reach the heel back, however much it will, I can get more of my toes on the floor. I can feel that a little better. Other foot's going to do it too. Now I'm in a plank. Toes really spreading out. As I reach that other foot back, I try to reach the heel way back. And then the first foot comes in. And let's leave the other foot out there for a moment. And same thing, just feel what it's like to kind of push the foot back and forth a little. Heel way back or more forward. More forward, it's kind of hard on the toes. The more I can get that heel to go back, I can spread out my toes more. Now let's take the other foot up again. Both heels lengthening back. Palms spreading out. Now feel how much you're working your upper body right now to hold you, and see if you can keep some of that connection as you take one knee down and then the other knee down. So this time, instead of going to the plank, we're just going to reach the leg out and off the floor. And could you think of this nice, strong, connected upper body as you do it? Reaching the leg out and up. And then take that knee and slide it all the way back in without touching the floor, like it was coming in towards your nose or your chest. And then reach it out again. Long leg, float it up. Support your upper body. Float the knee in, however far it can float in. Reach it out. Float it in. One more time as you reach it out. Spread your palms, widen your elbows, and come back to both knees. And then opposite leg goes out and up off the floor, not super high. Still keeping my spine straight. So if I go really high, I'm going to end up arching my back, right? So spine really straight, abdominals in. Float the leg. Spread your palms, widen your back. Reach your leg out. Float the leg. 2 more. And then bring it down. Take your weight off your hands. Come back to child's pose. Okay, so what we just did there with the knee going back and forth, the leg going back and forth, was movement that was focused on abdominals and hamstrings mostly, maybe a little bit of glutes there. But because I was moving in what we call the sagittal plane, this sort of straight ahead, and the forces were kind of on that in that direction too. So we're going to do that same movement lying on your side, and it's going to change it the way it feels. Because you're lying on your side, it's going to focus on your obliques a little bit more. You'll get more sense of the obliques as we do it. So basically the same movement, but just changing that plane. So just like we do in side kicks, you're on your side. If you can do the arms straight out, do that. If you need it tucked under, or if you want a pillow under your head, and then the arm can be forward, that's another way to do it. So here we are. The main difference is gravity. Gravity is now challenging me in a different way so that I don't fall forward and back. And that's going to get my obliques to fire. So lifting this underneath waist, taking the leg up, and let's start with that slightly back feeling. Now don't arch your back. Keep all that together. I'm still using my abdominals. And then float the knee in and forward. And then stretch it back. It's very similar to our side kicks that we often do, but it's, I don't know, kind of fun to play with it. Bending the knee in, reaching it back. Abdominals hold you together. Don't let the pelvis tip forward or back. Balancing on your side here. And exhale. 2 more. And last one. Evidently, bangs are a good kitten toy as well. So bring yourself up to sitting. We'll distract Andy Cat by going to the other side. So feet are forward again. Long line of your body, head to pelvis, all in one long line. I'm gonna lift a little bit in my waist here. So I get a little space between my waist and the floor. I've really got hip over hip connected. And then this leg comes up a little. Now I'm more connected to this side. And then I take that forward and back movement. Knee comes in. Leg stretches back. Here's the hamstring. Here's the abdominals. And then trying to keep my body steady and balanced. Gets a little more obliques. I might get a kitten ankle weight soon. That'll give me even more. Really parallel leg as you go. You don't move that knee up or down. It stays in that direct line. And back one more time. And then legs together and rest. Yes. See, this is good kitten workout technique right here too. We're in the same position now. So I'm gonna pass it over to Scott, and we'll see where he goes with all this. Grab the feline distraction.
This is some serious feline distraction going on. So I'm going to continue this thread of movement. We're going to start off working our way sequentially into a yoga sun salutation, and then in a really classic yoga technique, often called vinyasa, what we're going to do is intersperse different postures with the movements themselves. So let's begin toward the front of your mat. And then with the next out breath, sweep your arms to the side, up, let your chin fall. And then with the inhale, folding forward. Let's pause here for a little bit, similar to what you did earlier with Collette. Knees can bend as much as you'd like. And the reason we're spending a little extra time here is to let the full weight of your head hang. And as a result, to let your neck elongate. Now, building on that sense of your neck lengthening, with the next out breath, reach the crown of your head forward. We'll pause here for a bit, often called gorilla. And then with the next inhale, folding, let your head hang again. And then with the exhale, rise up, arms to the side, all the way up. Chin follows. And then inhale, arms down. Let's do that a little bit faster. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, fold. Exhale, press your feet down to rise up. Inhale, arms down. Now let's add another layer to that. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, stepping back. So here we are, yoga pose, head down dog. Couple deep breaths here. And then with the next out breath, step your feet forward. Inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. Adding another layer. Exhale up. Inhale, folding. Gorilla. Head down dog. Now with the next exhale, coming forward to a straight arm plank. Should be familiar by now. Inhale, back to dog. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. Adding another layer. Exhale up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, stepping back. Exhale, straight arm plank. Inhale to the floor all the way down. Exhale, back up to hands and knees. Inhale, head down dog. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way out. Inhale, arms down. So we're going to do the same thing again, all the way down to your belly. And then on your belly, you're going to spend a little bit more time rolling out the locust position. So let's use all our sequential steps so far to make our way to the floor. Let's begin this time with an inhale to fill your back. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, stepping back. Exhale, straight arm plank. Inhale, down to your belly. On your belly, stretch your toes back. And to help decompress your lower back, at the same time as your toes reach back, reach the crown of your head forward. Then if you remember when we were rolling out gorilla, the idea was to keep your neck long. And then more of the beneficial movement occurs between your shoulder blades. Keeping your neck long with the next exhale, lift your head and your upper chest. And then similar to what you did on the side leg series, to open the fronts of your thighs. Keep your toes reaching back as you exhale. Lift your legs up a little bit, straight legs. So we're most of the way here to locust pose. Now lift your hands. Reach your arms back. We'll take a few breaths here, locust. And then coming back down, replacing your hands by your ribs. Press up to hands and knees. And then back to downward dog. We'll take a few deep breaths here. And exhale, step your feet forward. Gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. All right, so let's take all those pieces and assemble them together. And the hallmark of this flow is that every movement corresponds to a breath. So to begin, let your arms hang. Remember that sense of broad across your back. Inhale into that breath. And exhale, arms up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, head down dog. Exhale, straight arm plank. Inhale, lowering down. Exhale, locust. Remember locust. Inhale, back to the floor. Exhale, push up, hands and knees. Inhale, dog. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. All right, so that's our sun salutation. So now we're going to intersperse other movements between each sun salutation. So to begin that process, step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in, then your right foot out. And then with the exhale, bend your ankle, your hip, and your knee. Inhale, straighten. A couple more like that. Bend. Straighten. Bend. Hold the bend. Now moving your pelvic bowl, tip your pelvic bowl. Let your spine, neck, and head follow. Culminating in elbow to knee, hand on your hip. Couple breaths here. And ride the inhale up. And then back to the front. Second side. Now turn your right foot in, your left foot out. 3, bend, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Stale air out. Fresh air in. Holding your knee in the bent position. Now tipping your hips. Elbow to knee. Hand on your hip. Couple of those slower, deeper breaths. And ride the inhale up. Turn back to the front. Step your feet together. Sun salutation. Stale air out. Arms up. Fresh air in. Folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, dog. Exhale, straight arm plank. Inhale down to your belly. Exhale, locust. Inhale back to the floor. Exhale, hands and knees. Inhale, dog. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. So continuing the thread of movement, step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and your right foot out. So getting a sense of your breath rhythm. With your next out breath, bend your ankle, hip, and knee. So for the time being, your torso is still straight up and down. Now with the next out breath, tip your hips, but not as far this time. Bring your hand to your knee, other hand to your hip. Then that left arm sweeps forward, sweeps through. Taking a little peek inside your armpit, there's a ceiling. Couple of breaths here. And then inhale up. Back to the front. Second side, turn your right foot in, left foot out. Get a sense for the rhythm of your breath. Slower, deeper breath. Exhale, bend. Pause here for a bit, torso vertical. And then with an exhale, tip your hips just a bit. Hand to knee, hand to hip. And bring your upper arm forward, sweep it through. Take a little peek at the ceiling. And then with the inhale, come up. Turn back to the front. Step your feet together. So I'm going to exaggerate my breathing a little bit. We're going to go through a sun salutation together. Remember that every movement corresponds to a breath. So let's begin together, get in the same rhythm. So inflate your upper back, inhale. Then exhale, initiate the movement. How'd that go? You miss a piece here or there? Don't worry, that's really common. So let's continue the thread. Step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and your right foot out. Deep inhale here, fill your back. Exhale, bend. Spine vertical for the in-breath. Exhale, tip your hips. This time, tip your hips more again. Bring your elbow to knee, hand to your hip. Now take the upper arm, left arm up, and then toward the floor, turn your head and neck. Couple breaths here. And then come up with an inhale. Back to the front with the exhale. Second side, turn your right foot in, left foot out. Sense of your breath rhythm. Exhale, bend. Pause for the in-breath. Exhale, tip your hips, this time just like the other side, tipping a little bit deeper in. To rest elbow upon knee, hand upon hip. Then taking your upper arm up. And then toward the floor, turn your head and neck. And come up with the in-breath. Back to the front. Stepping your feet together. So this time, kind of split the difference between a lot of verbal prompting and no verbal prompting. So letting your arms hang, sun salutation. Begin with the in-breath. Exhale, arms up. Then with the inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla, head forward. Inhale, stepping back, head down. Exhale, straight arm plank. Inhale to the floor. Exhale, locust. Inhale to the floor. Exhale to hands and knees. Inhale, dog. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. So that's been a lot of movement, not necessarily connected to what you did earlier. So if you remember on the side leg series, you had the chance to open up the front of your hip and down into your thigh. So let's build upon that idea. So start with your feet about hip width apart, and then take your left foot and step it back. I touched the wrong leg, apologies. And it's not a very big step back, just enough that you can feel both feet on the floor, heels included, both feet pushing forward. And then related to some of the ideas we've explored before, take the back heel, lift it to propel your body forward. And then descend that back heel to move back. So there's a forward backward action that doesn't come from ahead, a forward backward movement that doesn't initiate from the shoulders. It initiates from the back foot. Now, next time that back heel is lifted, pause there. And get your bearings with your torso. Placement of your head, shoulders, chest, belly, pelvis. And see if you can keep your torso where it is. As you now take your left heel, stretch it back and down. to open the front of your hip and lengthen the front of your thigh. Now remember how you had the towel earlier? Reach your arms forward like you had the imaginary towel. Open your back, open your chest. Now drop the imaginary towel, replace it with the imaginary beach ball. Big deep inhale here. Exhale, float your arms up, let your chin track. Inhale, hands down. Step the left foot forward. And let's take a few breaths here. Now to make sure that my confusion is symmetric, I'm going to say one thing and demonstrate the other. Take your right foot and step it back. Just a little bit back. And then checking to feel both feet on the floor. Cross-country skiers, you'll know what this feels like. Like your feet are in the cross-country ski track. Hands on your hips. And then initiating the forthcoming movement, not from what the upper body does, but from what your right foot and ankle does. Lift the right heel, propel forward. Descend the back heel, draw back. Inhale. Exhale. A few more like that. Getting a sense of movement that doesn't come from your neck or shoulders, arising from your lower body. And this can be a great remedy for people who have a stiff neck, which is often related to habits or patterns of movement. The next time back heel lifted, pausing there. And checking in with the placement of your head, neck, shoulders, chest, belly, pelvis. And see if you can keep that whole entirety integrated. As you now reach your right heel back and down to open up the front of the right hip, all the way down to your knee. Then bring your arms forward, imaginary towel. No kitten here to grab at it. You have that sense that your back is open and your front is open. So then drop the imaginary towel, go to the imaginary beach ball. Full deep inhale here. Exhale, float up. Inhale, arms down. Exhale, right foot forward. Sun salutation. Begin with the in-breath. Exhale up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, dog. Exhale, straight arm plank. Inhale, down to your belly. Exhale, locust. Inhale, belly. Exhale, pushing up. Inhale, dog. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. All right, so I'm going to end here with a yoga posture. And it's going to be based on some of the things you've done already, a little bit of a variation. So we've done a number of times bend ankles, hips, and knees. And before when you did so, your torso stayed more or less upright. So now we're going to let torso come a little bit forward, but focus on a little bit. So bending your ankles, your hips, and your knees. A few breaths here, and then come up. So I'm bending a little bit, torso comes forward, but not pushing my butt way back. Let's do a few of those. Exhale, bend ankles, hips, knees. Inhale up. Bend. Straighten. The next time in the bend position, we're going to pause there for a bit. Then bring the imaginary towel forward. Give a little tug on the imaginary towel to open up your chest, broaden your back. Then trade in imaginary towel for imaginary beach ball. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hold a position. Then we'll release the position and observe the quality of the mind. A lot of traditions say there's a clarity that arises not necessarily during the position, but in its aftermath. Let's see how that plays out. Big deep inhale. Exhale, beach ball up. Keep your eye on the beach ball. We'll take a few breaths here. Now drop your arms and come up. Drop all the breathing. All right, so we ended with a little bit of a yoga / meditation technique. That the state of mind that a lot of people report they're looking for, calm, focused, steady, compassionate, is there to be found. And it's most visible closest to the surface after we do a position like we just did and then immediately in the aftermath. How'd that go? Wonderful to see you all today, half and half. Collette and I are super excited to get back into action here for the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Any comments, questions in the chat? Nothing today. I think the kitten went off to take a nap. It's exhausting being a kitten. Have a great week, and let's do this again really soon. Bye-bye.